So let's just try to select some demos that I have on my account in GitHub, because I understand that there are so many repos. So let's make a selection of it. For example, here I have this repository project where I built some projects using JavaScript. For example, I have this one, Poke API, and it's called Pokemon Pokédex because it's using the Pokemon API. So this is made with CSS and JavaScript. I can resize it and change like that. I'll zoom in a bit. So how it works is like here, it's shown the Pokemon. Here all the information. Then with these buttons, we can select some properties of this Pokemon. Here we can just go further with the Pokemon. So here we will see the index of the Pokemon. This one will be the name of the Pokemon, and we can choose different actions or powers specific to this Pokemon. What we can do is here, if we go over with the mouse, we show the height. So we click show the height, the weight of this Pokemon, and this will show the ID here, ID 7. So here we show different covers, different images of the Pokemon. So like different clothes, different color that is available in the Pokemon API. And this will show one side and another side. For one Pokemon, we can select the evolution of that Pokemon. So starting from this Pokemon, we can see the evolution. So from this stage to this other stage. If there are any. So in this case, there's only one evolution. And then there are no other evolution found. So we can also select here the name of the Pokemon and then click on this button and we will find it by ID. And it's also working here directly. You can write the number here and it will select the Pokemon for us. Here we also have a song. Here we'll stop and play the song, the first song, here the second song, and that's it. That's it. It's just a little project to learn to use APIs for Bcode. And at Bcode for this project, other people maybe follow the tutorial. I didn't do it. Here, this one, it's also another exercise, but this time for HiQ Future. So they gave us this project to copy. It's called Pomo Focus. So it's using the Pomo technique, the Pomodoro technique, so to create slots of different amount of time. So they gave to us the link and we had to copy it. So here it's mine. It's published on GitHub. So you can choose just a break, could be longer one or short one. Then all this will change, the CSS and the JavaScript. Then I start it and I can stop it. Can have a long break and short break. And all this is made copying it, this one. So here it's 100%, and let's set this also to 100%. Let's check the Pomodoro. Here is also a bar that will move like in the original. And all these buttons are buttons that we use to validate the HTML, to run some unit test, to log some information or validate the CSS and so on. So this it's made in during Hack Your Future, so CSS JavaScript. Here it's another repository, CodePen, but let's also check. Let's close this one. Let's go back to the project repo, and let's check also this one. So this project is a simple app made in React. It was actually the first time I used React. It's using also other libraries to get all the data from the API and to show it on a map also as well. So this is React. It's quite simple, I would say, this project. So I can select a country, and I can click, and gives me the total amount of deaths recovered and things like that. Here it comes from an API. Let's reload it. Okay, no, it's right. So Brazil, for example, and this is the information about Brazil. So the new confirmed cases and the total amount of the cases. So, okay, now let's reload it because it looked like it didn't work. Okay, this is it. It's all made with React. So this is another project, a little interface to how to. I did this project to learn how to use React and these other libraries. Another project, another repo to have a look to is this one, CodePen. So there are a lot of different little demos made for CodePen. And here I have, for example, this one. Let's have a look. Mixamo Thriller. So here it's a demo made with Three.js and A-Frame. So it's like ready for virtual reality. So with the glasses and all the devices could be could work fine, like 3D. And this is a little loader. And this is a CSS loader also as well. And it's loading a Three.js animation. So my computer is a little bit slow and also my internet connection, but this is it. So this I did to check, to know how to work with different softwares. And specifically was Blender and Mixamo, and I wanted to be able to use some like some shadows on the scene, some lights, and this is also one can also navigate it. So now I'm pressing the W key, the S key, now the R key, again the R key, the D key, and so on. But this is just a little demo. And also the mouse obviously is working. So this is kind of interesting. It's Three.js and Mixamo together, but it's also easier because it's kind of simplified by using A-Frame, which is another library with the support of VR. So here we could build other, I don't know, HTML on top of that and things like that. So it works also the key, the arrow key, they work, for example. And having a little bit more time could be even more interactive, like being connected to database, JavaScript can be everything, or change some data, or triggering a different animation, maybe things like that. It's quite still reasonable on this computer. There's no RAM, and yeah, now it's running on Linux. So here I have many other little projects, animations or little games. Sometimes it's more standard. for example, but this was, for example, something that I like to do. Let's start like an exercise to do a div that will move this way. But then I thought, okay, what happens if I let it move randomly? And instead of doing so a square that is doing like that, it will, at each time of the iteration, just randomly move. And then I said, okay, it would be nice to show the animation while this is happening. So it's drawing. It's one continuous line that doesn't stop from the origin. It stops according to the number of iteration, and is drawing a kind of a town, something like that. According to me, it looks a little bit like something futuristic. Yes, so this is made with Canvas and JavaScript. Also, no tutorial. Just I try to invent something also, and just to learn. And then I found another library, for example, which is ZDog. It's very similar, but it's immediately showing the result. And but then it's also 3D, so you can see that it's starting from one point and then it's continuously drawing the structure. But this is already called a complete structure. So yeah, I have also other projects, also with CSS. Sometimes CSS animations is quite old. It's a little demo made in JavaScript, and it's just an animation. It's very, very simple. The colors, the font, and everything. It's just you click, start this animation. Okay, the first time it's okay. Second time, let's see what happens. It's still okay. It's a random number. The third time, just fired. So it's very, very simple, but it was interesting to have all the animation like step by step. So doing this with JavaScript only, it was interesting. So no tutorial, I followed no tutorial. Then there are other games made specifically for with Canvas. Other are more standard to do application. At least I didn't follow a tutorial for that. Let's close this one. Another project is could be this one for Hack Your Future. They ask us to clone the DuckDuck website. So it's like a clone of DuckDuck. So it looks like DuckDuck, but it's not. Here there are all the buttons and all the rest. There's a little animation made with CSS and all the rest. Like this one is all made with CSS. This also, it's made with CSS. It looks like I didn't remember actually. And then it's also this I did. So, yes. So how it works, if I remember correctly, so also this little animations all made without copying, just looking how they were done. And also this SVG, it was recreated from scratch by looking at the website from DuckDuckGo. This is encoded inside the SVG, so it's CSS animation. And I took one SVG and then I tried to recreate all the animation, like I did, like here. And this, if I remember, it was also dynamic, responsive, and that's like that. So I have also a lot of projects made using HTML and CSS also, like this. There are many of them. This one, for example, this is called website exercise, and they are just websites that I made just to be able to create some layouts. Let's have a look to maybe this one and this other one. This is also an animation. So this is a little website that I made for this artist. This is just an exercise. So there are all the links. It's a one pager, and it's also responsive like that. Or like that, showing things like that. That's a little animation I did, CSS, and that's it. This other one, it's also an animation I did. It's using CSS, it's using JavaScript. I can check here. So I go with the mouse. And if I click, it shows me an animation, upper leg selected. And also this is obviously, let me see, with JavaScript, some order in it. I can show the shell. Let's see this one. I can show the body. So disappear. This is all made with JavaScript. Let's see the bones. Okay, can go back like that with the mouse. Let's see the head. Okay, the head. Oops, it shows a little bit crazy look inside. Okay, so for example, the animation I made myself also, and everything else. And there was also the 3D of it. So if I click on 3D, I can also maybe show the 3D simplified. Don't remember so well. And voila, this is it. The little models quite fast also to load, and you see it's all the CSS, the HTML, it's all on top of that, together with that. So here there are a lot of other websites that I made, layout and things like that. And what else? For example, this one, it's a project that we did with Hackio Future, and it's deployed on Heroku. And this one, it's a project that we did. It's a donation application. So this is the basic idea. There are people in Brussels who want to get rid of objects they no longer use, and at the same time, there are people that they need objects, need things, newcomers. And so we call the first group, we call givers. The second group, we call needers here. So the idea of this application is to make possible for them to communicate. So actually, this would be like once the giver logged in, it will be able to make a donation, and this will be shown with a photo. You can select some photo and then do a post or a donation. So here, for example, 6 days ago, this is just a screenshot of the application. 6 days ago, it was a ball here donated. And this is all the objects of one person. This is the page of the needer. Once this person did the login, it can show the categories, it can check all the categories, and these categories are linked to a database. So one could use, add more categories to it. So a leader can search the items by clicking the category. So this would be food category or other category. So I click and I see all the items. So maybe this item belongs to the giver one, and this other maybe to another giver. And I can select it and contact this donor directly. These are the technology that we use. So we use Figma, Bootstrap, React, Axios, Redux. For the backend, I was in charge for the backend and also for the front end, because the front end we didn't have enough people. So in the backend, we use Node, Express, Sequelize, MySQL, and Heroku, obviously to deploy it. This is the setup, quick setup, examples of the code, and everything else. It's here. So the documentation is quite good. What we did is we did 2 project boards, one for the front end and one for the back end. We can have a look to the front end, for example. So different columns. To do, it was the first one, doing, ready for review. And then it was the last one on the right, when the project was terminated, when the issue was closed, was moved to the column done. Here there are all the user story. Now, I'm sorry, it takes a little bit of time. So we had, these are called cards. These are the issues. These are the labels. This is for the milestone. So we had 1 milestone per week. So we did it in 5 weeks. It was a lot of documentation, and the actual job we did in 2 weeks, kind of. But yes, this was created before. So these are the users. This is me, this is Divya, this is Samir, this is Divya. And we did all by creating the issues. So we can open the issues. Here we see who did what, and we can go to the issue to see more details, to read better what is it about. And so we review it. We did all the documentation. Let's have a look. This was the project. Let's click it back on just for giving. So the programming we did in 2 weeks. All the project was 5 weeks time. We had also a wiki. We did a wiki. We show a little bit of documentation of this project. In the wiki, we did a lot of page. A backlog also was important. Everything that we had to do is in the backlog. Then we select all the user stories and we assign the user stories to the different people. So we did a brainstorming, obviously. We created a branch, a guideline for the branches, how to do it. Then we did a communication plan for week 1 up to week 5. Then there were all the contributors here, all the name. So for example, me, I was in the backend, but I was also the mentor for the front end, for the DevOps, and the project owner also. Here there were our coaches. So it was quite well made. For the connection DB, as I said, we use Sequelize. So this is all the setting to be ready with the project, to start the project. I also made a script, so it's enough to make a script. We create all the entities for the database. We also have DB schema. So it's the first version was simplified, just 3 tables. Then it was more intricate, a bit more interesting also, with foreign key and all that jazz. We had also more pages. We made interviews also before starting with the project. This was also interesting. So we did a lot of interviews, different people. Then we did, we create 2 personas, so for the giver and the needer, with a little bit of graphic. So this is it. Then we did there are also links. There are the user stories, and there's a link to the wireframing Figma. Let's open maybe the user story. Is a user story we did for the different issues that then we created. And so this was quite interesting. We also used the discussions. So we divided all the different discussions, sub-discussions, like that. For example, let's open the backend. So in the here for the backend, we also have some tutorials. This was the first version. Then it was some feedback. Then we brought another version. Then I changed it a little bit. Then we approve it. We did also another version. This is the SQL of it. Then we continue with variation. We talk about that, and we choose then the final version of it, which is this one. This is, for example, yep, something related to SQL. And we also use Slack for the communication also. Use this one. And so we use the discussion in GitHub, but also Slack. So there are many of them. UX, UE, for example, let's have a look. We had the person that did the Figma file, but we helped also. So this is the logo. So we were discussing about the logo. So we did a few tests of that, some combination of colors, color schema, some graphics. It's also video. Yeah, we use Figma also to draw a little bit the logic of the application, some other information about the text. So this is it. And yes, just for giving. Here I really want to show the way we communicated. And here it's just in the main branch. So there are only 87 commits here. Can have a look. This is me. This is Samir, another colleague. Really was interesting. But then there are also all the branches and all the logic that we use for the branches. So this is all the front end. And then with Roman number, we add the backend. So if we select, for example, this one, then all these branches, I will open it in a second. All these branches are then merged in one branch before going to be merged in the main branch. So let's have a look. And here I did also the front end. There are the bugs, also the Pendabot, branches. And here is the deployment. The deployment branch was the branch then to be used to the deployment on Heroku. Let's see, sign up needed, for example, just randomly, I don't know. We click on that. And yes, here we see all the all the commits relative to this branch with all the people that worked on that. And just forgiving. And this is it. For the rest, maybe it's a little bit long, this presentation. I also have an account on DeviantArt, and there you can find, you can see some graphic project that I did. So there are some UI UX user interface sketch, also this one. This screenshot is another screenshot of application made with React. This is another application just made with JavaScript. To-do application, the Common Focus application. And for example, this one, it's a prototype made with Figma. This is a screenshot of it. And it was contact tracing application, COVID-19 contact tracing application for the Horeca. So this it's all the graphics. So for a mobile phone, for a tablet, or a computer, some notes, things like that. And there's also the prototype available in Figma. So if I click, I could see all the file, all the prototype, all the model, the sketch, but also now loading the prototype in Figma. This takes a little bit of time. So my computer is a little slow, and my connection is also not the best one. But here it's loading. And this is the interface. So this is the home page. It shows some graphics, and I can do some operation like do the check-in, for example. We show me all the interface. So I can start. Will tell me what to do if I want to register by phone or by mail, maybe. So there are just 4 steps. I want to do something very, very easy. So let's select phone. Here they ask me to add my phone. Okay, it's wrong. Time of departure is also wrong. The phone, I got it right. And this is the third step. So it's in red because it's hey, here there is a problem. Okay, I resubmit it. Time of departure. And let's see, now this time is completed. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. So I was able to do my check-in. Otherwise, this shows when it's wrong. Here, it's just a review, time of arrival, time of departure, and people at the table, 3 people. And this is the phone. So it goes back to the home page. So yes, this is it. On DeviantArt, I also have other graphics or maybe 3D graphics that is available. You can have a look. On DeviantArt. So I can work also with Photoshop, Illustrator, can make drawings, graphics. Sometimes I use programming for it to create some shaders or maybe scripts with Python, things like that. Now there are many examples like this drawing, for example, it's made with Photoshop, was a little illustration. And yeah, there's a little renderings, things, screenshots I did of little games, or yes, this was made with Illustrator. This also, this is CSS. And this one, I believe, with Cinema 4D. But I use also Blender. And voila, that's it. Thank you.